We'll start with a few preparatory practices. These are called pranayamas. Some of you, I'm sure, are familiar, and if not, then it's something new we get to explore together, which is always fun. So these are practices that are originated from yogic practices with our breath, being able to control basically the flow of wind in the body. And so we have this system in our bodies called the nadis. And these are essentially just channels that energy is moving through. And so we're working with prana, right? Or life force, chi, whatever you refer to it as, or simply oxygen, right? That does carry life. We can go without food for, a little while. We can go without water for an even shorter amount of time. But we can only go without breath for, a few minutes. And we tend to not pay much attention to it, when yet it's so fragile. Life is so fragile. And so tapping into our breath and our life force really has a deep effect on how we view the world and view ourselves. And it's interesting to me that breath is one of the only mechanisms in the body that we have full and total control over with our conscious mind. We can affect and alter our nervous system, our autonomic nervous system, with our breath. And then the breath also affects our mood, right? So it goes both ways, which is so interesting. So learning to work with it can really have a major impact in our lives. And this is why I'm so passionate about it and so committed to sharing this information, because it's helped me tremendously in my life. I struggle, daily with depressive thoughts and negative feelings and, things, trauma from my past that's really still living out in my subconscious and my body, as a lot of us are, most of us are, some people more intensely than others. And so how do we go about finding the ways to bring more awareness to these secondary thoughts that are really playing out in our lives as limiting beliefs, or possibly even, and mute my notifications, or possibly even as like self-sabotaging patterns, right? So it's like we try our hardest to, be successful, or to have, a loving, committed marriage, or like be a great mother, or whatever that looks like for you. But yet somehow there may be these things that are kind of still playing out that we're not fully aware of. So it's hard to, focus on our goals and focus on our dreams and all the things we want. So when we work with the breath, we're able to directly access the subconscious mind, which is so powerful, obviously, right? When we work with our subconscious, we're able to reprogram some of these limiting beliefs that we might have in our bodies and our psyche. So to begin, we're going to be working today with our diaphragm, right? And so our diaphragm, let me just move the camera back, is this flat muscle that sits directly underneath our rib cage. It's attached to our rib cage. And so when we inhale, we fill the lungs with oxygen, and the diaphragm actually contracts into the abdominal cavity, pulling the lungs downward to fill with air. And we have all of these organs in our belly, right? So our diaphragm needs space to move down. So our belly actually has the appearance of moving outward as we inhale properly. And so when we go to exhale now, note with that knowledge, the diaphragm simply just pops back up. There's not a lot of effort there. It just pops back up naturally. But I want everybody again for a moment just to bring their hands to their knees. Go ahead and take a deep breath. One deep breath. Exhale, let it go. So notice in that moment, where did you breathe into your body? Were you breathing into your shoulders and your chest kind of lifts when you inhale? Because that does happen. We tend to, if somebody says, take a deep breath, we tend to go, and we let it go. So this is stress breathing. When we breathe into our chest, our shoulders, and our back, we're actually activating our sympathetic nervous system, which is making us feel that we're in this fight or flight response all of the time, right? That we're in danger, or it also stimulates anxiety within the body, right? These are the things that we don't want. We don't need more stress. There's already a lot of stress in life. So when we learn to breathe properly, activating our diaphragm, we begin to calm the body, relax the nervous system, switch into the parasympathetic nervous system, or rest and digest, this ability to restore our body. So now we're going to bring our hands to our rib cage. Okay, so find your rib cage for me. And then just move down and out to almost to the sides, like you're holding the sides of your ribs. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Feel your lungs expand outward. And then on your exhale, just notice this inward motion, right? Your hands move back into the body. So a few times like this, deep breath in. Notice that deep expansion of the ribs, of the lungs, and exhale, this slight contraction. Good, one more time like that. Exhale, let it go. Beautiful. So now you can bring one hand to your belly, one to your heart. So as we were just working with this side of our body, we are actually activating as well the intercostal muscles, which are the muscles that hold the rib cage together, essentially. And we do use them in that process of breathing and expanding the lungs. So it's good just to feel what's going on, right? So now with one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, allow the eyes to close. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Okay, now breathing in, see if you can allow the hand on your belly to gently rise with your inhalation. And then the exhalation, it simply just pops back in and up. Good. One more time. One more breath. Beautiful. You guys are doing great. So we're just activating our diaphragm by feeling the hand on our belly. Just gently move in and out with our breath. So the last preparatory practice we'll do is going to be one that kind of wakes up and stimulates the lungs. When we wake up in the morning, there can be a lot of like mucus or stuck energy in our lungs and our chest. This is a practice you can use with your morning coffee, maybe instead of your morning coffee. It's an incredible way to wake you up, and notice afterwards you will feel like you're able to breathe better and slightly more energized. Okay, so to do this practice, we're going to do 3 rounds. And we'll start each round by inhaling deeply. We're going to hold the breath at the top. And then we're going to make first little fists, kind of just like Tarzan, pound around the body, even into the back, the lower ribs and the chest, not on your boobs, not on the belly, right? Then we'll exhale, let it go. The second round, we'll do the same thing, but we'll just allow our hands to be flat and kind of pat. This has a different effect. Third round, we'll make little tiger claws, and we'll just gently tap. Okay, and you can kind of move your head. You'll see me move my head so that you can really get into it. You guys got it? All right, let's begin. So let's take a clearing breath to clear the space first. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now begin, deep breath in. Hold it at the top, make those little fists. Go ahead, see if you can really allow your body to feel this connection, waking up the lungs for as long as you can hold your breath. And then when you're ready, exhale fully, let it all the way out. Good, so one clearing breath, deep breath in, out through the mouth. Next round, deep full breath in, hold it at the top, make hands, get into your back, the sides of your ribs. Okay, it's time to wake up. Good, and then when you're ready, let it all the way out. Last breath, clearing breath in, Out through the mouth. Here we go. Last round. Deep breath in. Little tiger pause. See if you can really get into your neck this time. Waking up your neck. Saying hello, good morning to the heart, to the lungs. And then when you're ready, all the way out. Clearing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just take a second here with your eyes closed and notice the feelings, the energy circulating through your body now. Do you feel you have just a little bit more space to breathe in the lungs? Good. So when you're ready, you can bring your hands to your heart into prayer. We're going to take a moment before we move into our deeper practice now to find our intention for today. Maybe simply just by asking, what is it that I need in this moment? What is it that I need in this moment? And not allowing this to be something that we have to search for or allow the mind to look around, jump around to figure out what is it that we need. That can be sometimes intimidating. See if you can just allow this to be a feeling, right? Breathing deeply here. What is it that I need in this moment? Maybe that is clarity, trust. Maybe it's just a release. Good, so taking one final breath together, deep breath in. Exhale fully, let it out. You can bring your hands to the knees, begin to open your eyes, come back to the space. So hopefully you guys feel a little bit more centered, a little bit more grounded after that practice. These are preparatory practices. Open the lungs, get us, ready for the day, ready to breathe, ready to activate this system. And then we're going to work with the diaphragm, as mentioned. So now I would encourage you guys as we move into our transformational breath practice to get yourselves set up. So I'm going to give you a few different ways to do that. I recommend lying down if you have the spaciousness to do so. Right here, I have a bolster. I don't know how everybody sleeps at night, but I like to sleep with my pillow like this. But for this practice, if you can grab a few pillows, you ideally want to put it vertically behind you. And so the reason for this is we're going to be lying down and you want to stack 1 or 2 pillows so that once you're here and you're in this position, let's say you're lying down, even though I'm not fully right now, just check and make sure your belly is not sunken in like this, because you'll try and breathe into your diaphragm. You can't do it. Make sure wherever you're at that your chest is nice and lifted and your head can be back so you can really breathe into your belly. And then my last recommendation is to put a pillow underneath your lower legs, underneath your knees. If you have it, you'll feel like you're in a spa and it takes a lot of pressure off of your low back if you have any low back issues. Okay, so take a moment to get set up. There's no rush. I'm going to run and grab a tissue. Give yourselves a little time. We'll be right back. All right. Everybody is looking like they are super cozy, which is the goal. So again, if you do have to move around at all and adjust your position once you're actually breathing, or, intentionally breathing, let's say, then please feel free to do so. Make sure that you feel comfortable. That is the most important thing, and that you have space to breathe into your belly. Perfect. So now we'll begin by again bringing hand to the heart, into the belly. Allow the head to fall back, the mouth to slightly open. We're going to be breathing through the mouth. And this is simply to get in enough oxygen, enough air. Good. And so allow the tongue to become heavy, the jaw to become relaxed. And begin to take some deep breaths now into the belly, allowing the belly to simply fill, just like a little balloon. It might sound like this. In and out. So here we focus on taking in all of our good with our inhale. Just moving the breath, consciously directing it to the belly and activating our diaphragm as we did a moment ago. So picture and feel that flat muscle underneath your rib cage. When you inhale, you feel it pull down your lungs into your abdominal cavity. So your belly gently moves out. Perfect. So the music now is going to speed up just to give us a little rhythm, something to follow, okay? Good. And so on the exhalation, allow the breath to simply just melt away from the body. Like your navel is moving in towards your spine. Almost like a sigh with no effort. In and out. We don't have to squeeze or push the breath out. See if you can allow the diaphragm to simply just pop back up, right? Not a lot of effort here. Maybe repeating mentally, it is safe to let go. It is safe to surrender. With every exhale, it is safe to let go. Breathing in and out. Good. And so the last piece of this, you guys are doing great, is to connect your breath. So notice there's a pause at the top and the bottom of the breath. See if you can allow that pause to gently release. That might look like you inhaling a second sooner than your exhale is finished. It might sound like this. Beautiful. Keep breathing. You're doing such a great job. In and out. It is safe to be in my body. Safe to be in my body. Just see what that feels like. Just like a wave moving in towards the shore. Good. Keep breathing. With every breath, I breathe in more life, more energy. And I don't have to try so hard. Maybe just repeating mentally. I don't have to try so hard. I know exactly what to do. Trust that you know how to breathe and you're working with everything you've been through in the past that's stored in your physical body. So let go of the idea of trying to do it right. See if you can just let it flow, right? Just like that wave. On the inhale, moving in towards the shore. The exhale, moving back out into the all. Let it be easy and soft. Just find that point of connection. Good. In and out. Beautiful. You guys are doing so great. Keep breathing. Now I'm going to invite you to bring both of your hands up towards your shoulders, as if you're like having a tension headache and you're just kind of needing to massage into your traps. See if you can find a point in there and just press in and down. Allow the head to fall back, the mouth to open wider. Breathe into your heart. This is where we tend to hold a lot of fear and rage in the shoulders. So see with every exhale if you can allow the body to simply relax. Maybe saying mentally, my anger is valid. My anger is valid. And with every exhalation, I can let it go. In and out. Keep breathing. You're doing so good. Don't stop. Don't give up. This is your time. Keep breathing. Good. And then gently allow your hands to come forward onto your chest. So find that little muscle that's almost by your armpits on your chest. It just kind of feels tender when you press in there. Don't worry about having the perfect spot, wherever you instinctively need to go. And once you're there, gently on your exhalation, just press in very gently. These are our compassion points. On the right, masculine, on the left, feminine. So maybe repeating mentally as you breathe, I have compassion for myself. Okay? I have compassion for myself. In and out. You guys are doing so great. And Tammy, if you wouldn't mind switching to a song at the end of this playlist, for me, that would be great. Thank you so much. Keep breathing. I love and forgive myself right here. Good. I love and forgive myself. And just see what it feels like to stay here for a minute or two. As we press into the physical body, we begin to release stuck emotions. Good. I love and forgive myself. I don't have to try so hard. Now bringing both hands to the heart. Now breathing into your heart space, infusing it with love and joy. In and out. These last few moments of breath, really bringing to mind and to heart your intention. And what is it that I need in this moment? And feeling that energy move through every cell of your being. as if you could breathe 2 inches beyond the boundary of your skin. Feeling this gentle expansion in and out. Good. And now beginning to slow down your breath, returning to your natural rhythm. Allowing the hands now to fall down to the sides of the body. And as we begin to wind down, notice this gentle unsqueezing from the center of your brain, just like a lotus flower that is opening to the sun. And every breath filling the hidden parts, the folded parts of our consciousness to be filled with this bright, healing white light. As it gently surrounds our body with this beautiful flow of energy, of life force. Good. In and out. Letting the body simply just relax. Beautiful. And now these last few moments, feeling this appreciation for just the simple fact of breathing, the ability to breathe and feel the body, feel your feelings, notice the thoughts without judgment, but to simply just be with yourself in this moment of complete surrender and letting go. Even if you feel or you notice resistance, simply just repeating mentally at this moment, I love myself for who I am. I accept myself for who I am and everything that I've been through. And to know that we are fully supported. I am fully supported in my every step by Spirit, who guides me towards what I must know and what I must do. Now, all together, now with all the space we have, taking a deep breath in, holding it at the top for as long as you can. Just sitting in this space of deep inner stillness for a moment. Good. And then when you are ready, exhale fully, let it all the way out. Very slowly, we'll take 3 clearing breaths to start to come back into our bodies. So maybe in through the nose, out through the mouth. 2 more like that. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Beautiful. Last one. Opening the heart. And release. Begin to wiggle fingers and then toes. And then allowing these movements to slowly grow into circles of the wrists, circles of the ankles. And then maybe stretching up, bringing your arms above your head, just like you're waking up out of bed. Oh, grateful to be alive, grateful for the privilege to breathe. Beautiful. And then last movement, see if you can give yourself a hug. Either you can wrap your arms around yourself or you can hug your knees in towards your body. Just take a second and see what feels good for you. Just to show a little bit of love, appreciation. Beautiful. And remembering to breathe deeply, even during the transition. And so when you're ready, we'll begin to transition back into a seated position. But I do, excuse me, I do encourage you to take your time, however you need to arrive here, making sure that you are moving slowly, right? There is no need to rush, nothing to do, nowhere to go. Simply be with yourself. So everybody will take different, amounts of time to arrive here. So if you do arrive here, or you have already, you can just allow your eyes to close. Bring your palms face down to your knees. Taking deep breaths. Noticing this incredible life force moving through your body in this moment. Just feeling more alive is a powerful, powerful thing. And so we'll take a few more grounding movements to come back into the body now that we're seated. So everybody can open their eyes. We'll interlace our hands in front of us and stretch out to the side like you're pulling your hands apart. You should feel this in your back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring the palms forward. Allow the chin to draw towards the chest. Good. Inhale, arms to the sky. Again, like you're just waking up, just moving gracefully, side to side. Feels good to get into our bodies. And then you can bring your hands behind you, keep them interlaced. We're going to inhale, allow the head to fall into the hands, open the heart. Exhale, round your body in. So elbows draw in towards each other, chin draws towards chest. One more like that. Inhale. Now a little smile at the sky. Yes. Beautiful. Exhale, grounding in towards your center. Now you can allow the head to hang heavy here and just bring the hands gracefully to your heart into prayer. So the head is bowed down towards the hands. Allow the shoulders to be back and the body to sit upright. Long spine. Take a deep inhalation. Exhale, letting it go. As we gesture this gesture of love to all sentient beings, and we are grateful just for the moment to be with ourselves and to connect with our breath. Thank you guys so much for sharing this practice with me today. I hope that it served you well. So just for a moment, we're going to have some time to share, which I think is really nice. But just know that you guys did so much in that very short amount of time to support your body, to support your mind and your spirit. So we activated our lymphatic system just by doing this deep diaphragmatic breathing, right? Massaging all of our internal organs, which is really healthy. We also relaxed our nervous system, as we talked about in the beginning of our session. And then we're also strengthening our immune system. Every time we're doing this deep intentional breath work, we're taking in a lot more oxygen and really, allowing that oxygen to move into the blood, into the brain, and help us really feel more and more alive. So if you notice like that tingly feeling, did anybody get that tingly feeling in their hands or anywhere in their body? Yeah. That's probably the most common thing that you might experience during this. And that is you're feeling your energy field more expansive in your body. So that's a good thing, even though it can feel a little bit uncomfortable. And some other things that may have happened in your session today is maybe you notice like some tension in your jaw or some muscle twitches. Sometimes I'll have like my baby toe twitch. It's really weird. You never exactly know why that's happening. But one thing that's really important to note is that when we do this intense breath work, we're focusing on our inhales, we're relaxing our exhales, as you guys did amazing at, and then we begin to connect our breath. We're really creating an energetic circuit in our body. So we're allowing emotions that are holding a low vibrational quality, like anger, maybe fear or guilt, shame is a big one. We're allowing these emotions to actually lift, rise, and entrain with this higher vibration that we're introducing into the body. So when you do this, you go through a purging process of letting go some, feelings or memories that have been stuck for a long time. So as this happens, it can take the form of sweating, of shaking, of burping, even, which is kind of weird. But just know that every time you do a session, it will never be like the one prior. Every time will be completely different. It's because you're coming into the session with a new state of mind, a new, biochemical state as well, and new energetic state. So you're working with, everything that you've been through in your life. So I think that those are all my little comments that I wanted to mention. How is everybody doing? Are we doing okay after that? Does anybody have any questions or anything that they want to share? I know I can feel a little bit more inward after doing that breath, so that is okay. And if you'd like to say anything, you can just unmute yourself. Right. So it seems like everybody's feeling. Kristen?
Yeah.
Hi.
Couple of things to share. One, slow, deep breathing totally got me through natural childbirth twice with my
Wow.
son. The second time, I'll never forget going to the hospital, and when labor started, the short breaths that they teach you never felt like right to me. I did these slow, deep breaths. When I got to the hospital, I was already dilated 9 centimeters
Wow.
and was totally just like calm, and I recommend to anyone I encounter who I'm close enough to have a conversation about, but just recommending that slow, deep breath and like visualizing lotuses blooming and that kind of thing. And the other is, um, I've made a point to find like these little moments where I welcome sort of opportunities to just stop, like relax my shoulders and breathe, to the point
Mm.
where it makes it like I'm happy if I'm driving somewhere and I'm at a red light. It's like, oh, I can take a few deep breaths here. Like it's a good thing, and it can change your
Okay.
perspective on things like that. So just wanted to share that.
Wow, Kristen, thank you so much for sharing and your experience with childbirth. I had a similar experience with natural childbirth, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, for sure, as many people have experienced. But breath really does help. It's like you just mentioned, we have the ability to control our mood, our emotions, and even our pain levels based off of our breath. And so the power that it holds is tremendous. So taking the time to throughout your day, just in a car at that red light, bring more awareness to it. Just take those deep breaths, ideally into the belly, right? Can really, really help just automatically reset us. And, we all have days where we wake up feeling shitty, feeling not so great. Like that's life. And so having these tools like in our toolbox to just pull out when we need it really can change a lot. So thank you so much for sharing that. That was awesome. Does anybody else have any questions or like anything that happened to you during the session, or even something you struggled with during the session? I'm just scrolling on my phone to see everybody's face. Hi guys, Carla, Yana, Leslie, Erica. No pressure. I'm just saying hello. Carrie, Jill.
I'll share, but I have a feeling other people might want to also. Just know that when you share, it's you're often expressing a question someone has or doesn't know they had. But I just want to thank you, Aubrey, because you say to let go of things. It's like you crawled inside my brain. The There's so much of me that tries, the trying hard. I loved when you said about validating anger, like that we didn't have to let go of it, but be aware of it. And that I don't remember what you said, like that your words just, I'm going to do this recording because I felt like you were doing some powerful reprogramming that I imagine we all share, because if you knew what was going on in my brain, maybe it's going on in a lot of ours, some of those things we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And I have a question. Sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I feel like I haven't, like that last stage of sleep, I haven't been breathing deep breaths. I actually feel a little out of breath when I wake up.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'll take a few deep breaths to re-energize, but it's a pretty crappy feeling actually. It doesn't feel right. I feel like heavy. And I'm just curious if you have any thoughts about that and like morning breath work when you're still lying in bed in that like transitional state. Some good practices to try.
Thank you so much, Tammy. And that is a great question. I actually, part of the reason I got into breath work as well is because I really personally struggle with my breath. I have asthma, sometimes more intensely than other times. And so I experienced something maybe similar to you, that when I wake up, often I'm out of breath or short of breath, which is a sucky feeling. So, one thing that I would recommend is actually the practice that we did in the beginning of this session, the preparatory pranayama, where we hold the breath and kind of wake up the lungs. This would be one, obviously, for when you're sitting up. So maybe you would sit up in bed and you could do this. But that's just actually by the action of pounding, of hitting the lungs, you're stimulating that expression and that bronchodilation that we really need to breathe more deeply. So that's probably the main one I would recommend. I like to do that literally when I wake up because of that same reason. Just need to kind of get breathing. Secondly, I would recommend as well, if you like looking for a practice that you could do as soon as you like, your consciousness comes back to you, let's say, and you open your eyes, you're still lying down. You could simply do what we did during our transformational breath practice, just a mini version of it. So I would bring one hand to your belly, and not exactly like right here, but like your low belly, a little lower than you think. Bring one to your heart. See if you can, you can do this with your mouth closed as well. It does work, but I do think for this practice, just to get in more air can be helpful. So I would open my mouth if possible. Breathe, activate your diaphragm. So it's not that you're pushing your belly out, you're using your diaphragm and your belly naturally rises. So notice that subtle difference there. And so we take a few breaths, focus on your inhale, like that deep inhale. And it's not always easy. I know that sometimes our inhale can be blocked. And there's so many different reasons for this, right? But when we take a full inhale and then surrender, relax the exhale, and then try and connect it, right? By kind of letting go of the pause instead of going, we don't let it be so long, kind of. If you've ever seen a baby breathe, you guys have seen babies breathe, their breath just goes up and down. There's not a pause there. They're not holding the breath. The pause actually happens through trauma. And so we learn to hold our breath as a way to deactivate our feelings. So I would just encourage you, just if anything, focus on your flow. Let it be try and be easy and soft, and see if that can help in the morning, just like kind of reprogram you, reset. But definitely this one, most likely just if you're having that feeling of tightness, sometimes we have to open the musculature to begin to actually breathe more deeply. Does that make sense, Tammy?
Totally. That's very helpful. And I think that does collapse because I'm a side sleeper. So this gets really tight when I sleep. So that was really helpful. Thank you.
That makes sense. I saw a question in the chat. Let me just pull that up.
Leslie asked, how do you get better at getting to the higher register of your breath at the inhale?
That's a good question. So I think, as we were just mentioning, sometimes we are blocked getting that to that higher register, really getting to fully deeply inhale. And a lot of times that is because we are afraid to take in all of our good. So these are like limiting beliefs that are playing out in our breath pattern, as well as possibly the musculature that's like the physical body that's stopping us from inhaling fully. So if you struggle with your inhale, what I would recommend is maybe, when you're doing this by yourself for your next session, to prop yourself up a little bit more. I find for myself that instead of lying completely flat, if I'm at like a 45-degree angle, or maybe even just sitting up, but making sure you can lean back fully, that can help, just because you can breathe more deeply into the heart or the chest. So I would personally also work with some affirmations and some body work essentially around the heart. So maybe I would put my hands here, and it is safe to receive love as I'm breathing. Press in a little bit on your exhale, and that might help just to even like subconsciously begin to release some of the fear that is in. Sometimes we have grief and fear in our lungs and our chest, so that could help to release some of that. I hope that answers your question. There's a lot of different methods that we would use to help open the inhale. So I would just say, just really keep working with it. Try and sit up a little bit more deeply and try and breathe into the heart space, along with still activating your belly. Was there anything else in the chat? I think that was everything, right? Okay. And everybody feeling good? Are you guys feeling okay after that session? Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. It was wonderful to get to spend Sunday morning together after the full moon. So again, really powerful way just to like invite in all of this incredible energy of releasing, letting go some things that we don't need, because we can't change the past, even though we wish we could. Can't change the past, but we can change the way we feel about the past. And that can change our future. We can become these conscious creators of our life. And that's really what we want. Yeah. So thank you guys so much. I will see you again at some point. And thank you, Rise Gatherings, for having me. Tammy, do you want to close out with anything?
Yes, please. While I'm closing and thanking you, Aubrey, could you please put your information in the chat?
Sure, we'll do that.
If you all want to follow Aubrey, she's very active on social media. She's one of the reasons I opened my Instagram. There's just those people you're hoping that they posted and they'll shine some light in your day. She's one of them. So if you could put your social media handles in there too, Aubrey. And many of you are in the Philadelphia area, which is where Aubrey is. So you can be in touch with her with questions and potential more in the future. And really thank you, Aubrey, for sharing this Sunday morning with us and sharing what you do in such an accessible way. It feels so big and really transformational for sure, but at the same time, you make it doable, and that's a real gift, and we're all benefiting, and the ripple effect in all of our days, you don't even know. Here's 12 of us, but now we go and ripple it out. So thank you for everyone who will feel the vibration of this morning.
Wow, I really appreciate that. And it's so true, right? What we do affects everything around us and everybody around us. So just continue this process. Go easy on yourselves today. Even though we did a shorter practice, it really has a tremendous effect in the body and on your energy field. So take some time right now. I would really recommend journaling. If you guys have like 10 minutes before you have to get to life, write down whatever came up for you and your intention. Use that